Rhea, if
great.
at this point, having heard you review this many shows, if I go to
Yeah.
London and I don't find dismembered remains, I'm going to be so disappointed. I mean, like, I figure they're all over the place here.
Just hanging out.
Yeah. All right. And welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode of the TV show. And I say exciting, and I mean I'm recording from Wisconsin, so I'm lying to you that it's exciting. I'm Jay Black, joined as always by the lovely and effervescent Rhea Hughes and Angelo Cataldi. Um, guys, I want to start right away by telling you at the end of this episode, I am going to tell you about a movie that I believe is not just the best movie of the year, it is the best movie that has come out of this decade. It's the best movie I've seen in
Whoa.
6 years. And I'd be anxious to see if you guys will watch it and if you agree with me, because sometimes my taste
Wow.
doesn't run in the same direction as yours, Angelo. But
6 years, though. That's a lot of great movies.
oh, it's
Wow.
fantastic. And I'll tell you, I
If
saw
I
it.
know where Jay's leaning and I have a feeling, I already know how Angelo's going to feel about this, and I'll just leave it at that till the
Well,
end.
Rhea, I think both Jay and I are offended by you suggesting we're overly predictable.
And you know what? Rhea wrote down on a piece of paper that you'd be offended that you were overly predictable, and she was correct, as it turns out. All right, so let's talk about Rhea and Angelo, because Rhea is watching a show that was suggested to us several times by our audience.
And
Task,
we do take your suggestions seriously. When somebody asks us to watch it, I will watch it.
and it's a show on HBO Max called Task. And Rhea, without getting ahead of your feelings on it, you were texting Angela that you weren't a fan of Task. Is that correct?
No, and here's what I'll say is, and the guy who I believe wrote and directed it is the same guy who did Mayor of Easttown. And
Yeah.
I flat out loved Mayor of Easttown. It was one of my all-time favorite series. Kate Winslet was terrific. The writing was terrific. Where I think Task falls short for me was Mark Ruffalo and Tom Pelphrey. Mark Ruffalo is a retired priest who becomes an FBI agent. His nemesis is Tom Pelphrey, who's a garbage guy by day and robs drug houses at night. It's it's a cheap knockoff of Mayor of Easttown, in my view, in that it's so unrelentingly miserable. I literally approached this as
It's true.
homework.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, and because I'm a Mark Ruffalo fan, I love him a lot. Tom Pelphrey's terrific. The niece, I don't know her name. She's really good in it, but I was just Mayor of Easttown had some really dark moments to it, but it added levity, especially with Mayor of Easttown with her mother. Her mother was an absolute riot in that show. There's none of that. It's just beating you over the head with, and I'm not saying it's not well acted or it's well written. There's just never a let up of like these two disparate people are living the most. I felt more empathy for Tom Pelphrey's character in terms of just more of a human being than I felt for Mark Ruffalo. And that's how I feel about the show.
Okay, so well, Angelo, you told me that your thought on this was that Rhea might be being a little extra hard on Task, in part because just like Mayor of Easttown, it takes place in Delco, which is an area that we are all very familiar with. I think the Delco accent is the new Boston accent, where everybody wants to try to get it right, and very few people actually do. So Angela, when you're watching a show like Task, do you find yourself do you grade it a little differently if you know the area? How does it change your perspective on the show?
It definitely does. And I think Rhea is grading this a little harder. Rhea's basically right. It's incredibly, unrelentingly depressing. She's right about that. And the fact is, I'm a big Mark Ruffalo fan, but in this role, he was not committed to it the way he has been.
Yeah.
How do I know this? Because he had to gain 30 pounds. He's a FBI agent who's got a gut.
Right.
And rather than gain the pounds, he got padding, which
No.
you can tell it's padding. And it's like, Mark, you're such a method guy. what are you doing there? You gotta tack on the weight. It's
What?
otherwise it kind of looks fake. All
If
right.
you stop
Shockingly,
gaining weight,
Angelo was offended by an actor who won't eat enough
That's
to
right.
grow into his role.
Especially Italian. Yeah, have some meatballs, some
Yeah.
pasta. It'll be great. But here's the thing, all right? The real issue here is when we see a show that is set where we live, right? I'll just Rocky, right? I mean, Rocky is beloved all over the world. It's most beloved here because Rocky's running through South Philadelphia. He's doing all that stuff. He's up the art museum steps. We love that stuff. I once got so swept up in a bad movie, Jay, a bad movie called Last Call, right? Set in Upper Darby, right
hmm.
out of the suburbs of Philly. And I watched it, and we actually had on Jeremy Piven. Here, we had him on the
Oh,
radio
right,
show,
right, right, yeah.
and maybe that affected me too. But I enjoyed looking at Upper Darby. I liked the setting. The actual movie, once I was attacked and rechecked it, was putrid. It was really awful.
Yeah.
And so I get affected by it. But I don't want to. The last thing I want to do is come across here like an idiot. All right. But
You crossed that Rubicon a long time ago.
we never lost it. But yeah, do you want? I will watch Task all the way to the end, not because I enjoy being depressed.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle on it, Rhea. I'm like 50-50. I don't love it. I don't look
Can you
forward
be
to.
honest with me?
It was okay.
Doesn't it feel like homework to go back and watch the
It
next
is.
episode?
It is, but not entirely, because I happen to know that they filmed the scene from this show in my favorite produce store in Winmore. All right. And I know Captain Andy. I know the guy who runs the place. They had to shut the store down for 2 days. All right. And I'm dying to see my produce store in a TV show. Now that seems like
So
a dumb
your
reason.
recommendation for this movie is about cantaloupe and watermelon.
No, the peaches. They filmed last year at this time, and he has Idaho peaches that are amazing. But anyway, back to the whole point, though. It's different when you're watching your own little world.
Right.
Jay, you know that, right? Isn't it different? I mean, you go all over the country, all over the world, but when you're in your own neighborhood watching a show, it just holds me longer. And
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening for me with Task.
Well, I do think you judge it harsher. You know, we were talking, I'm thinking about this in terms of not location, but vocation, because there's a new movie coming out that Will Arnett is in that was advertised in front of the best movie of the decade, which I will get to later, that said that it's called Is This Thing On? And it's set in the world of stand-up comedy where, guess what? He plays a divorced stand-up who's depressed, which is all of them. And
I think you're the only stand-up comic who isn't divorced.
Yeah, well, give my wife time, Rhea. She'll find a way.
This time here, Rhea.
Yeah. But I was sitting there and I was groaning, and my son was like, "What?" I'm like, "I'm not going to see that," because they never get it right. They never get it right. They always play in with all the stereotypes of my business, and I do judge it harsher when I'm intimately familiar with either the area or the job.
I will say this: I'm the opposite. And Angelo knows this about me. I'm so provincial with Philadelphia. I root harder for them because I feel like if they fail, then I'm failing on some personal level. I really do. I want shows that are based in and around Philadelphia to do well. And this one didn't hit with me.
Well,
Fair enough.
Jay, the thing about it being your occupation is phenomenal. One of my all-time favorite TV shows, WKRP in Cincinnati.
Sure, great.
One of my all-time favorite movies, which I could never say on the air because we competed with him for a long time, was Private Parts, the Howard Stern. That was fantastic. The depiction by Paul Giamatti of the station manager.
WNBC.
I've worked for people like that. Rhea's worked for people like that.
Yeah.
So I love The ultimate would be a radio set show in Philadelphia. I would
No,
love that.
Let's
But it
develop
means
one.
it's better. You can connect better when you know the industry.
Yeah,
Of course, they got to get it right. If
yeah,
they
that's the
get
thing.
if they get stand up wrong in this movie you're looking forward to seeing, it's going to ruin it for you.
Yeah, and they usually do get it wrong. Punchline, the
wait,
greatest
wait. You know
example.
who got it right, Ange? News Radio, the TV show News
Oh,
Radio.
great
The behind the
example.
scenes stuff,
Oh,
they got that so right.
totally. Phil Hartman was in
Yeah.
it. Dave Foley. Those people were fantastic. That's one of the most unheralded shows. But again, we're radio people. I guess we would like it more.
Right.
It's fun to think about, though. It gives you something extra.
Angelo, I want to move on to something you did last week, which was you wrote that beautiful thing about Jimmy Kimmel and censorship. I really enjoyed reading that. And, I don't want to say that your statement helped Jimmy Kimmel get back on the air because you read it after he got back on the air. But I'd like to think that somehow it sort of went out into the universe and that's what helped him get back on. Well, this week, he's in Brooklyn. And he is doing something that I've never seen before, which is he and Colbert, the two people who've been canceled basically by, this administration, are going to be interviewing each other live on both of their shows. Like the shows, it's going to be simultaneous. I've never seen this before. And I'm wondering if two things. First, is the outpouring of support that Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel have received, is that sort of a proof that in this country, the First Amendment is way more sacred than even the people in the government understand? And number two, are they getting a little too friendly? Do you miss the days? Remember they all hated each other? When I came up, Carson hated Arsenio. Everyone hated Jay Leno. Like, so the first one's political. The second one, don't we want them to hate each other a little bit more, in your opinion?
All right, let's start with the First Amendment. All right. And I'm not ready to say that the people are going to prevent the ruination of the First Amendment because it's too soon to say that.
Right.
But the way they reacted to what happened to Kimmel was fascinating because they basically, you don't hear Donald Trump, pontificating anymore about these people. He's backed off because he knew he was losing the country with that point of view. The other part of it that's so interesting is that Sinclair and Nexstar, the two companies that wouldn't put Kimmel back on after ABC cleared him, within 2 days, did put him back on.
Right.
They had said they would not do it without an official on-air apology. Kimmel said no, and the corporations backed down. What does that tell you? These corporations stand for nothing. Do you understand? When your only consideration is the bottom line, there's no point in even taking a moral point of view on it because you don't have one. And the minute it looked like them holding firm and not putting Kimmel back and thereby censoring a critic of Donald Trump, it was going to cost them more than it would if they put him back on. The decision is always budgetary. That's
Right.
the only way they make that decision. So to answer your first question, it gave me hope. Maybe the will of the people still will govern even this administration.
Right.
But I don't think it's the last time they're going to try to muzzle somebody who says something negative about the president. And
The
that's why the
muzzling,
fight has
yeah.
to continue.
And I think the muzzling resonated with people because, and Jay, this is in no way disparaging what you do for a living. To go after a comic and not the people who do it for a living on all the different, different talk shows, the CNNs, the Fox, I was never going to get to Fox,
Right.
but, all of those different shows, people who say things that are 10 times as worse. He's a comic.
Yeah.
And so people were like, what he said was not really that bad. And the reaction was an overreaction. And people respond to overreactions.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
But by the way,
Well, you're
Rhea,
right.
I'm doing this with you from a Comfort Inn in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. You can't disparage my career more than I've already been disparaged by the career. So don't worry about it. I'm good. You don't have to.
But you're booked every night, Jay.
Yeah.
So your career is doing well.
Absolutely.
Jay, your second thing, though, is also a great question. These guys, when Johnny Carson was the king of late night, everybody else hated him. They all went after him. They stole Joey Bishop, who was a regular guest host on it. They gave him a shot. They gave Joan Rivers a shot at it. Arsenio Hall took a shot. God, they had Magic Johnson out there at one point.
Pat Sajak.
Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
They all took a shot at it. Now they are chummy. But you know what? I think it's the right thing because they are united to protect the First Amendment. Yeah. That's it. I mean, really, they're chummier than they should be in other situations. In this one, bring them all together and fight it together because the threat here to our freedom of speech is real, and they have to take. So in this case, I'm on board with what they're doing.
All right. So I want to ask you a question, Rhea. I know you and I have movie theaters that we both like. Yes. There's one near you.
I love the AMC in the Fashion District.
Yeah.
Probably because they're really comfortable seats. They'll deliver food to your seat, and it's a block away from the Reading Terminal. So, you know.
I've been there several times. It's a great movie theater. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you care what size the screen is? Or no?
I do not. I'm not like you and Angelo and even my son. My son, you know, he loves the IMAX. To me, when I go to the movies, I really just want a comfortable seat and a great movie and a box of popcorn. You know, I like it when I can have a glass of wine, but those movie theaters are few and far between. But you know, I'm pretty easy when it comes to movie theaters.
My son is similar to your son. He cares about IMAX. The movie that we're going to talk about later came out in something called VistaVision, which was big in the 50s. There is currently 4 movie theaters in the country that you can see VistaVision in.
Not in the country. There are 3 in the country. There's one. I look this stuff up. I do my homework. London, Los Angeles, New York, London, and Brookline, Massachusetts, which I thought was odd.
Weird. Yeah. So that's the hottest ticket in town is to go see that. Christopher Nolan's new movie, which by the way has not finished filming yet, has already sold out all of its IMAX tickets for July 2026. It went on sale 1 year ahead of it going out, and it sold out in an hour, Rhea. So my
son pre-bought for, like, I forget what was one of the last big ones. He pre-buys for any of the movies he knows are going to be big.
So you don't care. Angelo, do you care? Do you find yourself looking? Is this the way to solve the problem of movie theaters? Just IMAX and make it big?
I think I care, but my actions do not support that. 2 years ago, I saw the only thing I've ever seen in IMAX, Oppenheimer.
Great.
And I was blown away, not by just how great the movie was, but how IMAX made it even better. IMAX was amazing. And I went, oh my God, I can't wait to see more movies in IMAX. And all this stuff. By the way, that movie you're going to promote later, I already know I'm going to hate it. But anyway,
you'll love it.
But
I know why.
What? Well, all right, well, hold on. But in 1994, I just want to give you an example. If we had movies like 1994, Shawshank Redemption, Forrest Gump, Pulp Fiction, Natural Born Killers, Clerks, Mask. There were so many great movies. And you put some of those movies with a real story, movies where you'd have to blow something up every 10 minutes and put it in IMAX, I would buy a season ticket to go to all those things. The reason I won't go to IMAX is they haven't made movies that I really want to see. If they show me something like that in IMAX, I would love to go and see it. They're not giving us that opportunity to promote that technology.
That's fair.
Can I ask a dumb question? Because you guys are way more into, I do more series. Can you just show a movie on IMAX or does it have to be made in IMAX?
It has to be made in IMAX.
Okay. So I was just curious. Okay.
So they do have a digital conversion that they'll do for older movies, but to do a true IMAX movie like Christopher Nolan or Paul Thomas Anderson do, you need to have an actual IMAX camera that is 3 times as big and very loud as a digital camera.
And I'm sure extremely expensive.
extremely expensive. It actually shoots on film. So there are certain IMAX theaters that have digital cameras, certain ones that have projections, that like old school film projectors. And if you get into the weird IMAX community that I'm not in, but I'm peripheral to,
Sure.
I know these guys.
You want an invitation.
They care very deeply about all that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that, is we all care very deeply about, and that is our good friend, Steven Singer. Angelo, tell me about
Yeah.
Steven Singer.
The cardinal rule of business is to provide a product people want and sell it for a fair price. The reason that I'm not going to IMAX is that they are not providing me with a product I want to spend my money on. Bad business. Good business, a jeweler who understands what the hurdles are for a buyer. We don't really understand diamonds. We don't know your fancy jewelry. We don't understand the value of these gems. So be honest with them on it and give them a great selection. Rhea looks at that every week, looks at the website and sees all the great stuff that Steven
I have
Singer
something.
Jewelers
I
offer.
have
And
something really cool.
he
You want to say
just,
it?
he provides it. Now look at this.
What is
What's
it?
going on
So
here, Rhea?
this is the Eagles
Oh, look at that.
um, uh,
Oh,
gold dipped rose, and it benefits Eagles Autism Foundation, which the Eagles are huge on. It's proceeds,
beautiful.
uh,
Oh,
portion of the proceeds, but our football team is doing kind of well right now. It's a little bumpy, but they're still 4-0. But I saw this today and I was like, this is really cool. This is what people love. They love the football team, and it's a good charity thing too.
That's
that's
one.
beautiful. Those roses are fantastic, and they're just another example of the creativity of Steven Singer. He knows what you need. He will provide it to you at a fair price. That's all you can ask. I hate stevensinger.com, the other corner of 8th and Walnut.
You go right into the app that you're listening to this, click on the Steven Singer link, and you can go check out whatever you want. And Rhea, you talked about task. That was homework for you. Do you have something in British Corner that isn't homework?
I did. So a couple weeks ago, I told you that season 6 of Unforgotten had drops. Unforgotten is one of my all-time favorite series in British TV. It is on PBS, 6 episodes. But what I had forgotten was when I had watched it before, which I believe it previously was on Acorn, it's on PBS. Now, PBS is kind of really strict now about their shows. They drop one a week. That's hard to do with Unforgotten. Unforgotten has kind of a method they do. They start off it's a murder mystery with so it introduces this season introduces with the discovery of, I know you guys are going to make fun of me, dismembered remains in a marsh. And it's this guy Jerry Cooper who disappeared years before and was assumed to have committed suicide. They immediately introduce 4 different threads. And you're wondering in the first episode, how do all the, which is why I said, I'm going to wait until all 6 episodes drop. And I will tell you, you will not be disappointed, because this is a show, at least for the first 3 episodes, you kind of have to binge to just stay up with they layer stuff. It's what they do. But I will tell you, so the 4 threads are the widow and her now teenage daughter. There's an Afghan refugee. There's a controversial, they add some politics into this with immigrants and a controversial, conservative TV person. And what's the 4th one? An autistic man and his mother. And like I said, when I watched the first episode, but I'm telling you now, when you watch this, it all comes together where the guy who was murdered turns out to be not a good guy. So there are many suspects. And there are some suspects you're like, God, I hope it's not them. I mean, that's how drawn in they bring into the characters. I finished it yesterday. I did not see coming who actually committed the killing. Never saw it coming.
Wow.
I thought it ended perfectly. It was emotional. It was great. This is a series, when I said Unforgotten, they killed off the main character after 4 seasons and introduced a new one, Detective Jess James. She is fit in seamlessly with the detective group, Sunny Khan, who I love. And I can't recommend it highly enough. Unforgotten season 6 on PBS.
Rhea,
All
if
right.
at this point, having heard you review this many shows, if I go to
Yeah.
London and I don't find dismembered remains, I'm going to be so disappointed. I'm going to be like, I figure they're all over the place here.
Just hanging out.
Yeah. All right, Angela, what do you got for us this week?
But let me just tell you, I went to London and there's a tour there of all the sites where Jack the Ripper killed
Of
people.
course.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
at night. And I
Yes.
loved it. I love
Were you
London's an
scared?
amazing city. It's really
Were you
scary.
scared? Oh,
Yes, I
okay.
was terrified. You know me. Of course I was. All right, a couple of things. First of all, neither Rhea nor my wife Gail are huge fans of rom-coms.
Mm.
So when I
We
discover
are the
a
men in this relationship.
right, when I discover a great one, I like to tell them about it. I am not going to review this one because I learned a few minutes into it that it is indeed British, set in London,
Mm.
written, and one of the stars is a gentleman named Brett Goldstein, who my
Yep.
wife said was in Ted Lasso.
God,
And
I love Brett Goldstein.
Yeah, he's great.
yeah,
You didn't tell me he was a star. I'm like the biggest Brett Goldstein fan.
well, then hopefully you will like it because this is one of the best rom-coms I've seen because it's not predictable. It's the typical, normal trope. Oh, the two friends, one guy, one girl, they're just friends, and then no, but then it goes in direct. It's phenomenal. I can't tell you how good it is. And my wife watched it with me last night, and she went, "Now that's a good rom-com."
Oh,
So,
great.
Rhea, you're going to watch it this week
I
and then
am.
review it. And if you don't like it, I'll give you a choice. I'll either wear a dunce cap or I'll grow a mustache. All right.
But,
I'll just,
but Ange, here's what I will say to you about Brett Goldstein, and I think you know
Mm.
this, Jay. Brett Goldstein is a great writer
Mhm.
of shows.
Yeah.
He actually wrote the part Ted Lasso, and they couldn't find, from what I understand, they couldn't find the guy to play it,
Yep.
so they just had
So
him
good.
play it. He's
He's
the
good.
best character on Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
The
He's
best.
he's a really good actor,
Yeah.
and it's phenomenal because it's not predictable. All right, the thing I will recommend this week, based more on my wife than me, but she really really likes it. It's called the Black Rabbit. It's on Netflix. It stars two big names, Jude Law and Jason Bateman.
Mm.
Bateman's playing totally against character in that he's the bad guy.
Mm.
He is
Wow.
a scruffy, crazy guy. All right, drugs. He's got a bunch of bad things going on, and Jude Law is kind of his nicer brother who enables him. It's just what makes it great is Jude Law and Jason Bateman. They're really really great together. What makes it less great is it kind of just plods along in the usual, dark kind. It's a better version of Task. It's better than Task, but it's not fantastic. And it doesn't have my produce store in it, so I'm not really dying to see it. But Gail can highly recommend The Black Rabbit. You should check it out. It's worth a watch. I
Yeah,
say yes.
I would love to see that pull quote on the poster. Uh, Worth a watch. My produce store isn't in it, raves Angelo Cataldi, the TV show podcast. All right, so here's the movie I'm going to recommend to all of you, and I would recommend you see it on the biggest screen you possibly can. It is Paul Thomas Anderson's new movie, One Battle After Another, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Benicio del Toro, Sean Penn, who is basically a lock for the best supporting actor.
Don't say that name around Angelo.
I know you don't like him, Angelo, but he's going to win the Academy Award for
Poker face, not giving anything away.
Yeah.
Keep going, Jay.
This movie combines a lot of the threads that Paul Thomas Anderson has been running through his entire career. It's got the epic scope of There Will Be Blood, combined with the sort of found family, scruffy, shaggy dog quality of Boogie Nights. It's got humor, it's got action, it's got politics in a way that, it's basically a look at extremist groups left-wing extremist groups, like the Weather Underground, that sort of thing, and their sort of intersection with a fascistic government. It's hard to tell if it takes place now or in the future, but the politics are sort of secondary to the action, which is basically a father and daughter story set in this world. It is unlike anything you have seen in the last few years. It combines action and comedy and drama in a way that is refreshing and revitalizing to all of those genres. It's got a car chase at the end, unlike anything you've ever seen, and it is bravura filmmaking in a way that the last time I saw a movie that blew me away this much in a theater was probably Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
Wow. I love that.
2019 Quentin Tarantino movie, and the overlap between Tarantino and Paul Thomas Anderson it's a lot. They're both of a piece. I just can't recommend it highly enough. I want this movie to do well in theaters. I beg of you to go see this movie. It is
Jay,
wonderful.
the reviews I've read of it, actually for the first time, because normally when a movie like I've never heard of, the reviews I've read speak of it like so, like normally the reviews go over my head.
Yeah.
Like this is a beautiful story.
Yes, it is.
And I was like, that, okay, now you got me. If you got a
Mm.
beautiful story, that's what I don't want to hear cinematography, all that crap. Beautiful story gets me.
It's a beautiful story with all that crap, Rhea. So that's
Jay,
it's
Jay,
got beautiful
There you go.
cinematography. It's got great acting. It's just so good. I'm just so
Jay,
happy it exists.
this sounds like the movie I've been waiting to see on IMAX,
Yes, Angelo.
right? The car chase on IMAX? How
Yes,
great would that be?
you got to go see.
Oh, one other thing. Um, I'm never going to see it.
Oh,
No,
Angelo, how dare
Never.
you?
You
Come on.
said the two magic words. All right. You
Sean,
said the two words that I will not go see anything he does, Sean Penn.
yep.
Now, understand something. Last week, I recommended something that he was in. I would never have watched it if I knew he was going to be such a part of AKA Charlie Sheen, the documentary by Charlie Sheen, but he's really good friends with him.
Right.
And in the whole documentary, it's like with two episodes, whatever it was, a couple of hours. He chain smoking. He's all coiled up. I don't know. I know where he gets all that energy. And I just look at him and go, "Where's Spicoli?
Yeah.
Where's the first character he did in Fast Times and something high?"
Walking Dead, Angelo. He
Right.
was amazing in Walking Dead.
I can't stand this guy. I
All
can't
right, Jay, I'm
stand
going to
him.
stage an intervention. I'm going to stage an intervention right
No,
now. No,
no.
no, 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 because this movie is supposed to be so amazing. I think we have to make Angelo go see it.
Angela, you got to take Gail. She'll love it.
Do
And
you have only if you have a firearm and point it at my head will I go see Sean Penn? All right.
Angela, does it
I
help?
hate. There's no way I could like the movie because he's prominent. You say he's going to win an award.
Let me
Ah,
put it to you this way. Yeah, I will say this without giving anything away. He plays a villain, and he is the most hateable villain you've seen in
oh,
quite some
There
all
time.
you
right.
go.
Now
The
that might.
audience will hate Sean Penn with you on
Oh
this.
no, I already hate Sean Penn. You're saying I would hate him even more in the context of the film.
In the context
Yes.
of the film, he is not a hero. He is not well liked. He is
Okay.
the bad guy by a long shot. He is.
I think I might do it then. I
Yeah.
might do it because I know I will hate him, so I won't have to work at that.
No,
That will be easy for me.
and the rest of it is so good, Angelo. Oh,
All
it's
right.
so good.
Okay. Let me
Wait,
give you what we got here.
wait,
We
hold
have
on.
us.
Before you do, we got real quick.
Real
Rhea,
quick, we just want to mention, I just found something on Peacock, Rainmaker. We all know the movie Rainmaker,
Yeah,
Matt
yeah,
Damon,
yeah.
Danny DeVito. They have turned it into a series. I am 2 episodes in. I am highly intrigued. I will say that the guy who's playing Danny DeVito, I love him. It's intriguing. I'll let you guys know what I think of it next week, but I'm kind of intrigued by it. Rainmaker, the series on Peacock.
You got a lot to see this week, Rhea. All
yeah,
right,
I
here's
know.
what we said. If you want to see Task, even though Rhea hates it, go to HBO Max. Mayor of Easttown is much better. That was also on HBO Max. You could still see that there. If you want to watch Jimmy Kimmel, he's on Hulu. You want to watch Stephen Colbert, he's on Paramount Plus. They will be on each during their crossover episode where they talk to each other. If you would like to see a great British series, Unforgotten, season 6 on PBS is fantastic. The Black Rabbit is on Netflix. All of you, if you want to watch it while Rhea does this week, that's on Apple Plus. Rainmaker is on Peacock. Rhea said very promising. And One Battle After Another in theaters now.
Catch it on the biggest screen you can. That man right there is Angelo Cataldi. You can buy his book Loud at angelocataudi.com, amazon.com, or hear the dulcet tones of his voice, read it to you on audible.com. Rhea Hughes right over there. You can see her every single day on the WIP Morning Show, which is broadcast around the world on YouTube. And you can come see me face to face. And I don't want to brag, but it's in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. I'm going to be at the Mohegan Sun Casino there for 2 days.
Wilkes-Barre. It's Wilkes-Barre.
It's Wilkes-Barre in October 10 and 11. Come see me up there. And special thanks to our, Rhea?
I'm also on Instagram, Rhea Hughes 94 WIP, and I hope this week that we will have some clips of the show on my Instagram.
You'll get to see some clips there. Make sure, and those clips will come to us by our great producer, Jared Clapper, who I thank very much for doing that. And a special thanks to Steven Singer, our sponsor, and to all of you, our listeners. We will be back next week with more great TV content.